Hey guys, so today we're going to be working on the metric measurement chart. Measurement is incredibly important, especially in science, and today we're going to be focusing on measurement in distance, mass, volume, and temperature. During this video, if at any point you need to pause to get caught up, feel free to do so, and you're also going to need a set of highlighters and something to write with. So let's go ahead and get started. Our first term is distance, and distance can pertain to length, width, and height. It is measuring from one point to another. The symbol is a lowercase d. The instrument that we use is a meter stick or a ruler, and we'll be looking at both of those in a moment. And the units that we use are meters. That's our base unit for distance or length, and it's a lowercase m. It can also be a centimeter, cm, lowercase cm, and remember that 100 centimeters equals 1 meter. So down on the bottom of your paper, you're going to add a little something extra to that. And so highlight where it says how to measure distance. You are going to line your ruler up with the edge of the object and make sure that you start at 0. And then once you do that, you'll just measure across. And if you're dealing in centimeters, each of the little hash marks after that, remember, are a tenth because those are your millimeters. So feel free to pause the video, get this little how-to and your picture. So looking at a ruler here and our pencil, notice that we have a tiny bit of space right here before 0 actually occurs, so we want to make sure that we line our pencil up where the 0 is, and we measure across, and we see that this pencil is right at 19 centimeters, right at 19 centimeters. If it were a smidge before, it might be 18.9. A little after, it might be 19.1. Looking at another ruler, this ruler where the edge of the ruler starts is where the measuring actually begins. So we line it up directly there, and we see again that we get 19 centimeters. And we line it up. With this blue ruler, it's even more extreme. Notice that the 0 doesn't even begin till here. So we line it up, and we're right at 19 centimeters. And what I really want to point out is with our meter stick, right here, take a look at how this meter stick works. The 0 is at the edge, but when we line it up, look at what happens when we go past the 10. It starts with 1, 2, 3. Now that 1 is not really a 1. What is it? It's an 11. That 2 is not really a 2. It's a 12. So when we reach the 9 right here, which is at the edge of our pencil, that's not really 9 centimeters. That's actually 10 and 9. That's 19 centimeters. So this 4 right here is actually 24. So some of you will wind up having this meter stick in lab, so I wanted to make sure that we had already talked about that. All right, moving back up to the top of our paper, we have mass. So with mass is an important definition we'll discuss throughout this year. Mass is the amount of matter in an object. It's how much matter that object has. Its symbol is a lowercase m. We use a balance, particularly a triple beam balance. At the high school, you'll use a digital balance or scales to measure mass. The base unit for mass are grams. You can also measure mass of larger objects in kilograms, and keep in mind that 1,000 grams equals 1 kilogram. So down here, how to measure mass, You're going to zero out the TB, that stands for triple beam balance. You're going to make sure the lines match. Put the object on the pan. The pan is the little metal circle that holds the object that you're measuring the mass of. Then you're going to move the 100s and then the 10s and last the ones place to determine the mass of the object. All right, so just a quick demonstration with mass. I have a triple beam balance here. We will be doing this in class and in person, and you will be doing this hands-on. But for video purposes, I have set this up on my desk and turned my camera every which way so that you can kind of see this. We have our triple beam balance zeroed out. There's nothing on the pan over here. And we have this little line lined up with the 0. So I'm ready to put something on the pan. My 100s, my 1s, and my 10s placed are all on the 0s here. And I have a beaker with some paper clips in it. So I'm going to set it right there on the pan. And you can see immediately when I did that, I'm not lined up at the 0 over here anymore. And my goal is for me to get back to this 0 again. So I start with the 100s. Wait first, and I go to the 100, and it hasn't moved. And I want to make sure that I click it in that groove. I go to the 200, and you see that was too much. So I go back to the 100, and I make sure it clicks in. Then I go to my 10s place, just like the notes say. 10, click it in the groove. 20, click it in the groove. 30, click it in the groove. 40, I'm getting very close. 50 was too much, so I go back to 40, and I make sure that it's clicked in that 40s groove. Now, time for the 1s. I slide this across, and my goal is to line it back up at this 0 right here in the far corner of your screen. I'm getting very close. Got to be patient here. I already have 140. I'm at 5 point something, and I've got to figure out what that 5 point something might be. And it looks like I'm at 5.5678. So my answer is 145.8 because this is lined perfectly back up to the 0 again. So 100 plus 40 plus 5.8 is going to be the mass of this cup of paper clips and some thumbtacks. Okay, next we have volume, and we're going to do a lot with volume. Volume is the amount of space that an object takes up. The symbol is a lowercase v. We can use a graduated cylinder to measure volume. We can also use a ruler, and a mathematical formula for volume. The base unit for volume is going to be liters, but that's a pretty big amount. So for our purposes, we are going to use milliliters for volume. Keep in mind that 1,000 milliliters equal 1 liter. So head on down to the bottom portion of your notes, and we're going to talk about how to measure volume using a graduated cylinder when we're measuring the volume of a liquid. So it says, pour the liquid in a graduated cylinder, read the bottom of the, and this is a new word for you, meniscus. Read the bottom of the meniscus. And the meniscus is the curve that the liquid makes in that cylinder. So you have this curve here, and you always read the bottom. So the volume of this would be 8 milliliters. In the graduated cylinder, you have the base that's made of plastic. You also have this top ring that's made of plastic called the collar. And the collar should always be at the top in case the graduated cylinder were to be knocked over. The glass would not hit the countertop, the plastic collar would, and it wouldn't be broken. Okay, so here's a graduated cylinder. You can see the meniscus at the top of the graduated cylinder. We'll do a lot of practice of this on paper and also in person in lab, but I just want to remind you that you always measure the bottom of the meniscus, and that's the curve that the liquid makes in the graduated cylinder. The meniscus kind of looks like a contact lens sitting on the surface of the water. So another way to measure volume, and you all are really good at this from 7th grade, is to measure the length, the width, and the height of an object, and just multiply those measurements together. Length times width times height will give you volume, and if you're dealing with a cube where those measurements are all the same, then you can take those side lengths and raise them to the 3rd power, cube them, and you will also have the volume of that cube. So draw a rectangular solid here, label the length, the height, and the width, and then that's how we would find the volume of it. I also want to mention that a centimeter cubed equals a milliliter, which also equals a cc. A cc is what medical professions use when administering a shot, like a doctor or a nurse or a veterinarian. So if you're getting like 2 cc's of morphine for pain, you're basically getting 2 milliliters of morphine, and it would take up 2 centimeter cubes of space for the volume. Now, another way to measure the volume of an irregular solid, something that we can't necessarily measure with a ruler, like a seashell, is to use the technique of volume displacement. You have an odd object like a seashell. You're going to fill a graduated cylinder up with a known amount of water. In this example, we chose 50 milliliters of water. Zoom in a little bit for you. Okay, so we have 50 milliliters of water. We drop the seashell in, and the seashell takes up space. It has volume. So the water level goes up to 70. So we've drawn that in our picture. So to find the volume of the seashell, we take 70 milliliters, which is the volume of the water and the object. In this case, it's the seashell. We subtract it from 50 milliliters. That's the volume of just the water. And we now know the volume of the object, which was the seashell, has to be 70 minus 50, which is 20. And this technique is called volume displacement, and it's how we find the volume of irregular solids like seashells and rocks and even humans. Things that have odd shapes to them that aren't like cones or circles or boxes or squares. All right, so really quick to show you volume displacement, and we will be doing this in class, in person, and in lab, but I just wanted to show you real quick. I have a graduated cylinder. We read the bottom of the meniscus, and it is at 50. I'm going to very carefully slide. I'm awful with this. I have an olive shell right here, really pretty one I found on the beach. Slide it in. If any water were to splash out, I would need to start over. Then we were at 50, and notice now we're definitely higher. The volume increased because the shell takes up space. And now we are at 55, 56, we're at 57. It has gone up. We were at 50, now we're at 57. So tell me real quick, what is the volume of just the shell? What is it? The shell has to have a volume of 7 milliliters. 50 of this is water, 7 of this is the shell, because the total volume is 57, and that is volume displacement. All right, so the last thing we have up here is temperature, and that is the average kinetic energy, how fast the particles are moving. Kinetic energy has to do with movement. The symbol is a capital T. It's measured with a thermometer, aka thermometer, and we measure it in Celsius. In high school, you'll learn more about Kelvin, which is Celsius plus 273. Down here on the bottom of your page, you will read the thermometer and be careful of negative temps and increments other than 1. So looking at this picture, we have 4, and then we go to 0, and then we have negative 4. So this measurement between 0 and -4 is -2. And this is what